While working on my recent Ben 10 Omniverse retrospective video, I began looking at the way different series within the franchise go about approaching the same subject matter, particularly the way different series handle the introduction of a new alien species, giving me the idea to work on a new video discussing how each series approaches introducing a new alien species to Ben's arsenal. From looking into it, as far as I can tell, there are a few different ways to introduce a new alien transformation in Ben 10. Sometimes they're completely out of the blue, some are unlocked in situations that could be considered contextually or thematically relevant to that species, while others feel completely random. Let's get into the different ways we can see new transformations introduced in Ben 10, and discuss what about certain introductions make them feel complex and engaging, and what about certain ones that make them feel a bit more lackluster or run-of-the-mill. For those of you who aren't already aware, the Omnitrix is a piece of alien technology developed by the great first thinker Azimuth. It's the device worn by Ben throughout the series and is the literal centre point of 3 major series. The device allows its user to transform into whatever alien species whose DNA is inside the Omnitrix's database. The Omnitrix has the ability to connect wirelessly to the codon stream, a series of rivers made up of what looks like green lava that spreads across the planet Primus. The codon stream itself acting like an enormous database containing what was originally thought to be 10,000 species, but was later revealed to be over 1 million species, 1,903,000 to be exact. When first discovered by Ben, the Omnitrix only gave him access to 10 unique alien transformations, able to have further alien species unlocked from that point, although we don't actually get our first additional alien until Season 2 of the classic series. As to why we only start with 10 unique transformations in the first place, the Omnitrix groups alien DNA into groups of 10, there isn't anything to it beyond that. Getting into the addition of new alien species. The most simple method to unlock more species as we see in the series is by simply unlocking an alien species contained within the Omnitrix that hasn't been accessed yet. This can be done completely on accident like we see from the introduction of our 11th alien Cannibalt in Season 2's episode Big Tick, or intentionally unlocked and selected by individuals with an understanding of the Omnitrix's inner workings, such as Eileen with Upchuck, or in the Secrets of the Omnitrix film when Azimuth unlocks and transforms Ben into Way Big for the first time. Then we have alien transformations who seem to be unlocked through a more thematic or direct relation to Ben's surroundings. The most blatant example of this being Wildvine's first appearance in the episode Camp Fear. Although this one could be entirely coincidental like with Cannibalt, it seems relevant that Ben unlocks a sentient plant transformation when fighting against an army of alien mushrooms. I know mushrooms and fungi aren't plants, but I think thematically they're close enough. Staying on the theme of transformations being unlocked by environment or in relationship to other closely related species, as much as Cannibalt appears to be an entirely coincidental new transformation, Cannibalt was a DNA sample of an extinct species that come from a destroyed homeworld. Cannibalt was unlocked during a fight against a giant tick that goes around erasing species by destroying the homeworlds one after another. I'd say it's more than likely that the big tick came into contact with Cannibalt's homeworld and species, destroying it, resulting in the tick having some trace amount of Cannibalt's species DNA in it, resulting in the Omnitrix picking up on that DNA and giving Ben access to the Cannibalt transformation. If this is the case, it's some form of cosmic justice against the tick having a species wiped out by it be the ones responsible for defeating it. Now getting into the totally coincidental. Ditto as well as Eye-Guy fall into a bit of a category of their own. Ditto is accidentally unlocked in the episode Divided We Stand, with no explanation beyond the narrative setup to give Dr. Animo access to new interesting DNA samples to splice his mutants with, as a way to create an army of self-duplicating monsters. As with the introduction of Eye-Guy, it seems to me that this transformation must have been unlocked off-screen in between episodes, because when we're first introduced to him in the fight against the Negative-10, there's no hint whatsoever of Ben being surprised by this new form. If anything, he seems pretty adept at using the transformation. Although I could be mistaken, maybe Ben's just become so used to new transformations popping up at this stage that he just completely rolls with it like it's nothing. With his first appearance, it just really seems like he's had time to practice with this transformation prior to this encounter. I don't know if the writers originally planned to have him introduced before this episode, or if I missed some line of dialogue where Grandpa Max or Gwen says, "Wow Ben, you're getting really good with this new transformation," or something along those lines. As much as it feels out of the blue, I do quite like Ben just having transformations at his disposal that we haven't seen yet. I just think it's so much more fun to have that mystery of, do we know all the aliens Ben's using? It's quite fun. Now let's get to the introduction of a transformation that actually serves the narrative of the episode. The next alien transformation comes from classic Season 3 episode Ben Wolf. Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa Max visit Grandpa Max's old plumber buddy Wes Green, when Ben takes a sudden interest in the Native American culture after meeting a girl around his age, Kai Green. Suddenly a storm comes in, a bolt of lightning hits the ground beside the group, and a Leboan appears. At this point in the series, the Leboan is known as the Eneldushi by the native people of the area, being the Navajo's werewolf. This comes at a time in the series where not everything was presumed to be an alien on face value. This results in the group tracking down the Eneldushi. Now in a confrontation against Ben, this is where the Leboan scratches the Omnitrix, making direct physical contact with it, giving us our first glimpse of the DNA collection sequence, turning yellow, confusing Ben, the others, and us as viewers at this stage. It's rumoured that if you're scratched by the Eneldushi by the native people, that you'll become one. Once again, at this stage in the series, it wasn't presumed that every single oddity we come across was an alien. We see Ben slowly begin to transition between his human form and the Leboan form, at first getting its skin tone, hair and claws, and just generally the appearance. Over the course of the episode, actually much shorter than I remember upon rewatch, over the course of the episode growing progressively larger, becoming closer and closer to the LeBowen that scratched him from earlier. Towards the end of the episode, in a confrontation against the LeBowen, Ben fully transforms into it, making the realization that the Omnitrix has disappeared off of his wrist, with the Omnitrix symbol reappearing on his torso, making it very obvious to us, the viewers, and Ben himself, Ian Orducci is an alien werewolf. At this stage, Ben even brings up the fact that if he'd known aliens coming into contact with the Omnitrix would result in him gaining them as an alien transformation, he would have let more aliens come into contact with it, scratching it, whatever. Specifically bringing up how powerful he would be as a Vilgax transformation, or at least how cool he'd be as a Vilgax transformation. I just think this is such an excellent way of introducing an alien. Having the transformation itself being the sole focus of the episode, slowly transitioning Ben from human to the LeBowen over the course of the 20-minute runtime. After this, we get the remaining Anor system aliens unlocked after Ben interacts with them. The Omnitrix starts demonstrating the ability to scan certain alien species, as long as you're close enough to one that's able to be scanned. Getting the DNA samples for Snare and Frankenstrike by being around their species without any direct scan or physical contact with the Omnitrix. After defeating Zascare, we even see a glimpse of his true form appear in the Omnitrix. Moving on to the Ultimate Alien Force era, this is where we're given a direct explanation for the collect/capture mode. When the Omnitrix lights up yellow, the collection mode has been activated, able to reclaim lost or removed alien DNA from the codon stream, the DNA database. This capture mode being a little more visually clear when it comes to the recalibrated Omnitrix, which literally scans an alien, using the member of the species as the DNA source for the new transformation. This is where we give an explanation as to why Ben never actually actively had to scan the Anor system aliens. That being because the DNA was already inside the Omnitrix's database, and just being close enough to them, the Omnitrix passively identified the species and gave Ben access to those transformations. After the recalibration of Alien Force, the scanning of a new alien went from touch to a scan feature. This is visually represented by a yellow holographic field shooting out of the Omnitrix and analysing the DNA source. It was stated to Ben by Azimuth that when you're close, set the Omnitrix to capture mode and then it'll do the rest. In theory, even being able to scan corrupt or not fully formed DNA, such as with the DNA aliens or Kevin's mutated form, but the device was specifically programmed not to do so. This feature is what we see with Prisoner 775 and the Andromeda system aliens, who were previously not in the Omnitrix whatsoever. By the time we get to Omniverse, the frequency of new aliens has become much more commonplace. The mystery of how a new alien appears isn't really a factor now that it's been explained. Ben unlocks more aliens on accident than ever before and scans certain species as needed, like we see with the incursion transformation Bullfrag. Wrapping up this video, I believe the addition of new aliens fall into a few categories. Those that are already in the Omnitrix that just need to be unlocked, intentionally or otherwise. These can be unlocked by people who understand the inner workings of the device, or on accident either through the Omnitrix sensing some trace element of the DNA, or entirely at random. Otherwise, the DNA can be added through direct physical contact, or being within the range of an alien whose DNA is already in the database. Or if you run into a new species, simply scan them. If it wasn't obvious from the way I spoke about it, I think the best and most interesting way to add an alien is what we see with the Ben's LeBowen form. Having an episode completely focus on the addition of a new transformation is so fascinating to me. It really serves the plot. It's just so fascinating. You feel such a sense of mystery and such a sense of satisfaction once you realise what it's actually done and how much it opens the world and just how much potential Ben and the Omnitrix have in the world. Although this one only really works once, I can't imagine it would have the same effect a second time. You kind of get the gist. You know what's going to happen if this happens a second time. If you think I've missed any ways you introduce an alien, or you have any thoughts at all on the concept in general, please let me know. Thanks for watching.